and Northern Tibetan language. This was also highlighted by the Committee on Elimination of Racial Discrimination in its observations published in 2018. Secondly, Tibetans are not given a copy of the forged documents, nor are they allowed to render any evidence in their defense. They do not even have the access to lawyers to defend against the charges laid against them. Often the so-called trials are merely a facade. Even the family members and relatives of the imprisoned Tibetans get to know about it after they have already been tried and sentenced. Lodri Gyatso, also known as Sokar Lodri, was arrested for staging a peaceful protest in front of the Potala Palace in Lhasa in January 2018. His wife, Gagila, was arrested for shooting a video clip of him before going to the protest. Lodri Gyatso was sentenced to 18 years and his wife, Gaki, was sentenced to 2 years in prison after secret trials which the family members got to know only in November 2018. In view of the above-mentioned human rights violations carried out by the government of People's Republic of China, we urge Your Excellency to raise the issues of gross human rights violations in Tibet during the UN HRC sessions and statements. We also appeal Your Excellency to call upon the government of China to, number one, release Tibet's 11th Panchen Lama, Gyaltsen Chökyi Nyima, his entire family, Chade Rinpoche, and all Tibetan political prisoners. Second, stop meddling in the religious practices of the Tibetans under its regime. Third, allow an independent fact-finding mission to assess the human rights violations perpetrated against Tibetans in Tibet and other regions under China. Number four, guarantee fair trials and independent judiciary and access to legal counsel to all Tibetans. And the last but not the least, fulfill its obligations accepted by it to protect and guarantee the basic human rights of Tibetans, including their language rights, religious freedom, freedom of speech and expression, movement and assembly in Tibet. Sincerely, signed by Nubuthamda President, Prince Chochamba Vice President, Tibetan Community in Switzerland and Liechtenstein. Thank you very much.
Kama chichila tujiche, tiliti jis kama ngala timbu jiarende, tinde inde tilita tiri nomba lenji tungweni giche de timbu jiar andel pere, tinde inde nomba lenji chomi gi hata pata no chini. Shatong ngaro chok ngweni hena ta pedang giche de shulul draya cheta ki inji torom jerme kel ki chambo rendo shulul tes koda tek de siate ki chambo chitsog yorete. That is so shulug beg kanga te kodan trechini shulug motozo pe musup roba shegurte ngaro to beg nolo pepa to go matchini so many could de there tene baso da tari pepa to ya mane launchini kembe ya to te pedak cheta goka tari yopa de taki magu par chumi chegurte tik tuk chegi tola ani kembe go tita to no rose o chai twitch.
In the next, we have now a slogan shouting, and I request anyone from the member to lead the slogan.
Yeah. Let's.
Long live!
Long live!
Long live!
Long live!
Long live! Let the Dalai Lama
Return to Tibet.
Let the Dalai Lama
Return to Tibet.
Coronavirus made in China! Coronavirus made in China! Coronavirus made in China!
Coronavirus made in China.
Coronavirus made in China! Make China accountable! Make China accountable!
Make China accountable.
Make China accountable!
Make China accountable.
Coronavirus made in China!
China.
Coronavirus made in China!
China.
Coronavirus made in China. United Nations.
Wake up.
United Nations.
Wake up. Wake up.
United Nations.
Wake up. Wake up.
Shame on Chinese government.
Shame on Chinese.
Shame on Chinese government.
Shame. Shame.
Stop the killing.
In Tibet.
Stop the killing.
In Tibet.
Stop the torture.
In Tibet.
Stop the torture.
In Tibet.
Coronavirus made in China.
Made in China.
Coronavirus made in China. Coronavirus made in China. Make China accountable. Make China accountable. Make China accountable.
Make China
Shame
accountable.
on Chinese government.
Shame on shame.
Shame on Chinese government.
Shame. Shame.
United Nations.
Wake up. Wake up.
United Nations.
Wake up. Wake up.
Long live.
Dalai Lama.
Long live.
Dalai Lama.
Let the Dalai Lama.
To Tibet.
Let the Dalai Lama.
Return to Tibet.
Let the Dalai Lama. Shame on Chinese government.
Shame on China.
Shame on Xi Jinping.
Shame. Shame.
Shame on Xi Jinping.
Shame. Shame.
Shame on Xi Jinping.
Shame. Shame.
No religious freedom.
In Tibet.
No religious freedom.
In Tibet.
No human right.
In Tibet.
No human right.
In Tibet.
No human right.
In Tibet.
Shame on Chinese government.
Shame. Shame.
Coronavirus. Coronavirus.
Met in China.
Coronavirus.
Met in China.
Coronavirus.
Met in China.
We want justice.
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 United Nations.
Wake up.
United Nations.
Wake up. Wake up.
No more sleeping. No more sleeping.
UN up.
Shame on Chinese government.
Shame. Shame.
Shame on Chinese government.
Shame. Shame.
Pegalo.
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 여러분이 굳이 샤워때 마셔.
Kudu shavetem basho.
여러분이 굳이 샤워때 마셔.
Kudu shavetem basho.
여러분이 굳이 샤워때 마셔. Long live.
Dalai Lama.
Long live.
Dalai Lama.
Let the Dalai Lama.
Return to Tibet.
Coronavirus.
Made in China.
Coronavirus.
Made in China.
Coronavirus.
Made in China.
Coronavirus.
Made in China.
Make China accountable. Make China accountable.
Make China accountable.
Make China accountable.
Make China accountable.
Shame on Chinese government.
Shame. Shame.
Shame on Chinese government.
Shame. Shame.
China lied. China lied.
People die.
People's dies or not. China lied.
People die.
China lies.
People die.
China lies.
People die.
China lies.
People die.
Shame on Chinese government.
Shame. Shame.
Shame on Chinese government.
Shame. Shame.
United Nations.
Wake up. Wake up.
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 Shame on Chinese government.
Shame. Shame.
Shame on Chinese government.
Shame. Shame.
Let the Dalai Lama.
Return to Tibet.
Let the Dalai Lama.
Return to Tibet.
Coronavirus.
Made in China.
Coronavirus.
Made in China.
Coronavirus.
Made in China.
Make China accountable. Make China accountable.
Make China accountable.
Make China accountable.
Make China accountable.
China lies.
People dies.
China lies.
People dies.
China lies.
People dies.
China lies.
People dies.
Everyone, stop killing.
In Tibet.
Stop killing.
In Tibet.
Stop killing.
In Tibet.
Wake up, wake up.
United Nations.
Wake up, wake up.
United Nations.
Wake up, wake up.
United Nations.
Stop torture.
In Tibet.
Stop torture.
In Tibet.
Stop torture.
In Tibet.
Stop torture.
In Tibet.
United Nations.
Wake up. Wake up.
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 Stop killing.
In Tibet.
Stop killing.
In Tibet.
Stop killing.
In Tibet.
COVID-19. Made in China. COVID-19.
In China.
COVID-19.
In China.
COVID-19. Coronavirus. Coronavirus. Coronavirus!
Made in China.
Coronavirus!
Made in China.
Stop killing!
In Tibet.
Stop killing!
In Tibet.
Wake up! Wake up!
United Nations.
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 Stop torture!
In Tibet.
Stop torture!
In Tibet.
Stop torture!
In Tibet.
Release! Stop torture!
In Tibet.
Release! Release!
Panchen Lama.
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 Turkey double!
Permeyin.
Turkey double!
Permeyin.
Sexual matter! Baby Sexual matter!
Permito.
Sexual matter!
Permito.
Sexual matter!
Permito.
Langsam!
Permito.
Langsam!
Permito.
Langsam!
Permito.
Sexual matter!
Permito.
Turkey double!
Permeyin.
Stop torture!
In Tibet.
Stop torture!
In Tibet.
Stop torture!
In Tibet.
United Nations!
Wake up, wake up.
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 Stop killing!
In Tibet.
Stop killing!
In Tibet.
Stop killing!
In Tibet.
COVID-19! COVID-19!
Made in China.
COVID-19!
Made in China.
COVID-19!
Made in China.
Coronavirus! Coronavirus!
Made in China.
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 Boycott China!
Boycott China.
Boycott made in China!
Boycott made in China.
Make China accountable!
Make China accountable.
Make China accountable!
Make China accountable.
Shame on Chinese government!
Shame, shame.
Shame on Chinese government!
Shame, shame.
Human killers!
In
Human killers!
Chinese government.
Chinese government! Human killers!
Chinese government.
Human killers!
Chinese government.
Human killers!
Chinese government.
Long live!
Dalai Lama.
Long live!
Dalai Lama.
Let the Dalai Lama!
Return to Tibet.
And next we have a reading of our press release. And I'm going to read the press release. Press release. Tibetans protest during the 43rd and 44th regular sessions of United Nations Human Rights Commission against China's suppression of human rights in Tibet. The Tibetan community of Switzerland and Liechtenstein has assembled here before the United Nations to draw the attention of the United Nations Human Rights Council to the egregious human rights violation taking place in Tibet and other territories under the control of China, including East Turkestan and Hong Kong. As a member of states assembled for the 43rd and the 44th regular sessions of United Nations Human Rights Commission, we call upon the UNHRC and the member states to intervene and take action against China for perpetrating systemic human rights violation against Tibetans in Tibet. Had the United Nations and member states paid heed to the rampant human rights violation in Tibet and checked China timely, the world would not be suffering with this pandemic. Because China was allowed to violate human rights with impunity, China saw it fit to suppress the doctors who alerted on the Wuhan-originated COVID-19 global pandemic, and now the world is reeling under the unprecedented turmoil and catastrophic sufferings. This year marks the 25th year of enforced disappearance of 11th Panchen Lama Gendin Chökyi Nyima and his entire family by China. He was merely 6 years old boy in 1995 when he was abducted by the Chinese authorities, rendering him the youngest political prisoner in the world. The boy is now 31 years old, and even after 25 years of kidnapping, China refuses to give credible, verifiable information about his whereabouts. Tibetans in Tibet are going through unfathomable suffering since the illegal occupations of Tibet by China in 1959. 1.2 million Tibetans have been killed and over 6,000 monasteries have been destroyed, and the destruction continues with the demolition of Larungar and Yachingar in 2016. As for the known cases, 154 Tibetans have self-immolated in Tibet since 2009 as a mark of peaceful protest against the oppressive Chinese policy. The Chinese government discriminates Tibetans in all sectors: education, healthcare, employment, and so Tibetans who voice their concerns against the violation of basic human rights are called separatists and are not allowed to even apply for jobs, as seen in the recent job advertisement release. The Tibetan human rights defenders like Tashi Wangchuk, Anya Sengra, Sonam Palden, and many others are subjected to inhuman treatments and torture and imprisonment without access to free and fair trial. Tibetans have become prisoners in their own land under high-tech surveillance and restrictions of movement. The violations have happened and continues to happen in Tibet, and now it is spreading to East Turkestan, Hong Kong, and mainland China, where Christians are being brutally suppressed. The United Nations must act now. Therefore, we call upon the United Nations, the United Nations Human Rights Commission, the High Commissioner for Human Rights, and the member states and the government of Switzerland to press China to, firstly, release Tibet 11 Panchen Lama Genichö Gyima, his entire family, Chadje Rinpoche, and all Tibetan political prisoners. Secondly, to stop meddling in religious practices of Tibetans under his regime. Thirdly, to allow an independent fact-finding mission to assess the human rights violation perpetrated against Tibetans in Tibet and other regions under China. Fourthly, to guarantee fair trials, an independent judiciary, and access to legal counsel to all Tibetans. On fifth, to fulfill its obligations accepted by to protect and guarantee the basic human rights of Tibetans, including their language rights, religious freedom, freedom of speech and expression, movement and assembly in Tibet. Thank you. Now I would like to request Mr. Timirin Singh, representative of His Holiness the Dalai Lama and CTA.
Swiss Lichtenstein ki Nima number set, Tana Shingi, in the theory requirement was something upon it. They said the again, social day, the Punchi, they are it, Tana Shingi, and the Rimangi, also said, which has not do Sine, said they are it. Taringi, any duces in this year, any also Kagja number Shibichi, you have in a year. Any linguipia de Naranso any round in the Lumbal unit game, Viman like gate by you, deal gate any Mima Samadu Shechene Tawa Mambu Gichene, Sosu Gunsi Shuguya, and the Shuchene, Tadenti, Niwa Chime Gichene, the Pay Tubatilla, Uniran, Manturandi Ranjera, and Dilea, in Tabone, some details the Shuai. And it's a way, Tarinde Gondu, Sopegi, Soto Chogi, Sumbanashire, Tirinde, any draw me Totangi, any Sotu, things to Shexum than Shevshini, Tapchik Duserovicere, Dipeche, Logi Nangla, Nisu Chumba Tambure to Tie, and under the Janane. Any Manso Kashure, Toibgi, Niham di Chabe Chumbegi, Junsen the Tene, any Dindichigin to Chavachire, the Lojun on the Peche, any Logic Nala, any Dormi Totangi, Tenzogi, Tangi depth for Bresciati, Lojunala, Majubici, Tende injuries in Tigu. That's a way. Tandanganzo de Toibgi, Nedu Digi, Zambulingi, Namjunganzugi, Mumbo Tanka Jab de any Peche billion doing cigarette, Antina 30 doing cigarette, 30 doing it some Guja maybe Sway Dige, Nizu Dilte and Jumere, Peche Tandig Badula. Any digi kangi teni nedu di pobegi midandi peche saya ge simbigi nisu chadi ore tongbegi di peche gomshil nongro chigi ore didan didabegi zambu ning nangla pejo ge kangi nisu kari chungbayi negi digi di chaza lelen di jamini yimbegi mikton lasin sangmegi and when the Jubaji Chagi Yorede Janaki Dipa Mixum Church and Dandugi killing Giomare, Dika Kim Malimbig Masene, Pergapchigla, any Italy, any Ngotsu Segi Nisuchumbare. Tene Arigi, any Mami Dindi, Magjon Chebekabdilla, any D Nisu de Pep, Dicas Naza de Dusine, Toy de Pevres Chene. Jacob Chimbu Tindile, Mavishan in Dipamism Chetuku Yoba, Manzu Pipiki, Tembatilata, Timidoro Tanju Yimbeta, Manzumito Lazirva. Inegi Nesu Digi One Chana Shungi, Mavin Gazu Shigume, Dembal Time Gazu Tangi Yume, Digiti, Manzuki de Sata, Lord Trukchuki Nala Campi.
Lai Lama! Lai Lama! Lai Lama!
We demand freedom in Tibet! We demand
Freedom in Tibet!
We demand
Freedom in Tibet!
We demand
Freedom in Tibet!
coronavirus!
Made in China!
Coronavirus!
Made in China!
Coronavirus!
Made in China!
Stop!
Made in China!
Stop!
Made in China!
Stop!
Made in China!
Wake up!
United Nations!
Wake up!
United Nations!
Wake up!
United Nations!
What we want! What we want!
We want justice!
What we want!
We want justice!
Tibet belongs to!
Tibetans!
Tibet belongs to!
Tibetans!
Tibet belongs to!
Tibetans!
Tibet belongs to!
Tibetans!
Aja dojo dava sandana ganjam bomba tendeya. Keja rade je kede lejero. Onda yunda nanga kede je nawan roa jado tasembe penja dojo nawa lai. Anda dojo jawa kamjala kaja dojo dava sandana. Anjango tenze chasoya bode meje gajarade Yeda lenja dova tinja lon chida sumla kange ngade Chodo Shava Nanjano de Sami Meo Guzagire, Tezo Tambe Chuja Sonala Taga Dunjo Tabe Tunde, Kanjam Gombo Tunde.